Hey everyone, and today I wanted to talk about something that comes up a lot when you're traveling around the Philippines. How you're actually going to stay connected, especially if you're moving around a lot. Because yeah, it's pretty easy to get a signal in places like Manila or Cebu, but once you start going out to the smaller islands or more rural areas, it gets a little harder. And if you're relying on airport SIM cards or just hoping Wi-Fi will be good enough wherever you land, it usually isn't. You either end up with super slow data, no service at all, or you're stuck trying some random local SIM that only works in certain areas. That's why I started using Saily about 2 years ago. It's a digital eSIM that's meant for travel, so there's no physical SIM cards, no roaming charges, just mobile data you can use pretty much anywhere. And in this video, I'll walk you through how it works, what it costs, and whether it's actually a good fit for staying connected across the Philippines. So here's how Saily works. It's basically a digital eSIM that gives you mobile data in over 200 destinations, including the Philippines, and the entire setup happens through their app. You don't need to visit a store, there's no physical SIM card, and it doesn't replace your regular number either. It's just for data, which is what most people actually need when they're traveling. You just open the app, pick the country or region you're going to, in this case the Philippines, and choose a prepaid plan. They've got everything from smaller 1 GB weekly plans to way bigger 100 GB plans that last up to 6 months, or even a subscription with unlimited data if the Philippines is just one stop out of many. Once you've bought the one you want, you either scan a QR code or follow the steps in the app to install the eSIM. And then once you land in the Philippines, it activates automatically. You only have to install it once, so if you take another trip later, you can just top it up or add a new destination through the app. You're not reinstalling a new eSIM every time, which makes it way more convenient if you travel often. Just a heads up though, your phone has to support eSIMs and be unlocked by your carrier, otherwise it won't work, but most newer devices really do. But just in case, you can double check in the app. And since this is a data-only plan, calls and texts go through apps like WhatsApp, Telegram, or FaceTime, which is usually fine for travel anyway, and honestly, that's what I use day to day, even when I'm not traveling. So for most people, it's really not a big deal. Alright, so that's all well and good, but how much does Saily cost for the Philippines? Saily's plans are actually pretty affordable. You can get 1 GB for about $4, 3 GB for $8, or go with something like 10 GB for $20. And if you're planning to use more data or stay longer, there's a 20 GB option for $30. All these are prepaid with no contracts, and you earn a bit of credit back each time you buy one. They also have regional plans that cover entire areas like Asia, so you're not constantly switching plans every time you cross a border. And if you travel often or just want something that runs quietly in the background, they've got a monthly option called Saily Ultra. It includes unlimited data over 120 countries, including the Philippines, and comes with a few added extras like digital security tools and airport benefits. What's great is that Saily runs on top of the local networks in the Philippines, so speeds and coverage are solid in most areas, even outside the main cities. And because you're not locked into just one provider, you've got a better shot at staying connected across different provinces. And hey, if you're thinking about trying Saily out, I've got an extra discount for you. Just use the code GVUTech at checkout when downloading the Saily app or visiting Saily's website. That being said, Saily doesn't just get you connected, it actually does a pretty good job of protecting your data while you're online. There's a built-in ad blocker, which cuts out a lot of the pop-ups and trackers that normally follow you around. I noticed pages loaded faster, and I wasn't getting hit with a bunch of ads just because I looked something up once. Plus, since fewer scripts are running in the background, it helps you save on data as well. There's also something called web protection, which blocks dangerous websites before they can load. That's been super useful when I've tried to connect to sketchy public Wi-Fi at airports or cafes, especially when booking hotels or logging into my email. It's just one of those things you don't think about until it stops something bad from happening. And then there's virtual location routing, which kind of works as a lightweight VPN. It hides your real IP address and gives you a bit more privacy when browsing, or it works if you need to access content that's restricted in the country you're in. I used it on multiple trips to watch shows from back at home, and it worked surprisingly well. There was no setup, no buffering, it just worked. The nice part is, none of this needs extra apps or settings. Everything runs quietly in the background, so you don't have to think about it. The app gives you a heads up when you hit around 80% of your data, which makes it easy to stay on top of things without checking constantly. There's also 24/7 live chat support right in the app. I've used it a couple of times and they've been quick and helpful. Not just scripted responses, but actual support that got things sorted. And if you're using one of the larger plans, like 10 GB or more, You'll also get free access to NordVPN. It's totally optional, but it's a nice bonus if you're using public Wi-Fi a lot while traveling. It adds that extra layer of security without needing to pay for a second subscription. So to sum it up, if you're traveling through the Philippines or pretty much anywhere else, Saily makes it a lot simpler to stay connected. You're not swapping SIM cards, you're not hunting down Wi-Fi, and setup is pretty much a one-time thing through the app. The pricing's clear, it works across multiple countries, and having just one eSIM that you can top up or reuse makes a big difference if you're on the move a lot. And with the built-in security features, it's not just about staying online, it also gives you a bit more peace of mind, especially when you're using public Wi-Fi at airports or cafes. So that'll be all for today's video. If you found it helpful, feel free to leave a thumbs up as it's always appreciated. And just as a reminder, if you're thinking about trying Saily out, I've got an extra discount for you. Just use the code GVUTech at checkout when downloading the Saily app or visiting Saily's website. And of course, if you've got any questions or suggestions, feel free to drop those down in the comments section and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Other than that, thanks so much for watching, safe travels, and I'll see you in the next one.